Hey Pisces, it's your girl Belladonna Krishana here with your mid-month reading. I am so excited to see you again. Thank you so much for showing up and being open to this experience or this reading. So I was thinking about your guys' energy and the song Man on the Run came up. I don't like that song is nowhere in my there's no reason for me to think of that song. It just came up. It's like Man on the Run. And when I was thinking well, how does that relate to the Pisces energy? I was feeling like perhaps there was a situation that has recently happened, especially either I would say during this Mercury retrograde period or maybe even a little bit before, where you have felt like your fullest expression of yourself, which is that expression that is the truth seer, the person who is able to see somebody or see something in its truest form or truest energy, their highest form or the highest energy, that you saw that in someone and they couldn't, or something, and they couldn't quite see it in themselves. And now you find yourself in a state of possibly feeling a little abandoned and feeling like because perhaps feeling like perhaps because of the fact that, sorry, I just kicked my little table here, maybe feeling like perhaps because of the fact that you were able to not only see that but also be able to express that now you find yourself in a place of being left destitute, because it was a scary thing for someone to see. It was a scary thing for someone to hear. And now you have the man on the run. This could also not only be with somebody else, this could be with yourself. Maybe someone had told you a certain truth about yourself, and it was something that, was a little hard to hear or a little hard to digest. Maybe perhaps the way they said it, the energy of the person who had said it. And that also sort of left you in a place of you perhaps even being the man on the run. So the man or woman on the run. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards, and we're going to see exactly kind of what comes up and move through that. Okay. So, so this is the thing. I'm using the Liberty deck, and the Liberty deck is actually a deck from, it's an Aleister Crowley sort of, Aleister Crowley was a magician, a guy who, not a magician as in pulling cards out of a hat, but a magician as far as an esoteric magician. And he developed this deck, which was based off of his his books, his he calls them Liber, Liber One, or the Book of the Law, or Liber, Liber T, Liber, this Liber X, I believe. There's a lot of different books anyway. And so he created this tarot deck, and it sort of has this one's not created by him, but it's based off of his principles. And so the meanings of them become a little bit more esoteric. They're about your personal journey through. So I just pulled 3 cards, and all 3 cards were major arcana. What that means for me is that this process of being a truth seer, this process of being a truth teller, or people even telling the truth to you, and because you're a water sign. And so what was the first mirror? The first mirror was water. You look in water and you see your reflection. And so this story is reading to me that the Fool is how you started out. And this is 0. This is 0. This is the number of infinite possibilities, but this also is the number of the beginning of a journey. It's like it always starts with an idea. It always starts with a vision, of sorts, you know? And so how you got yourself in this situation was the Fool, because there was a journey that was about to begin, and it needed you to be present in it. It needed you to bring your full self to it for the evolution of either yourself or another person. So this goes from 0 to 2, right? So we have the High Priestess, which is actually number 2 in the major arcana. And so this is telling me that what you have just gone through, no matter how painful it seems, no matter how abandoned you might feel, etc., this was just to bring you here. This was just to bring you to the fullest expression of yourself. This was just to bring you to the point of actually running your own kingdom, actually running your own emotions, running your own, being able to be more discerning, being able to be kind of just on top of your game. And sometimes the only way to do that, sometimes the only way to see something in its true form is for it to first crumble, and for it to and actually it's so funny because we actually moved past 1. I believe that 1 is the magician. So it moves from the Fool, which is the infinite possibilities, to the 1, which would be the magician, which would be like, this is all happening because in some way you either vibrationally brought it to you, or you vibrationally or this had something to do with your desire, your need for your own evolution, for you to finally come to a place where you were ready to be the High Priestess. And so it took it took a little bit of work, and it took a little bit of heartbreak. It might have even taken a little bit of a few dark nights of the soul to get here, but you're finally to the point of the High Priestess. So sorry, we have the Star card that comes up next. And to me, this is the card of hope. This is the card of, there are several there. So this is let's see, number 17. So this is number 17. So there are still some processes to go through. There are still some illusions that need to be rectified. There are still some sort of ideals that need to be worked out, processes that need to be completed before you are finally at the point where you get what you want, you get what you desire. But first you have to become. First you have to become the High Priestess. And then everything sort of falls into place. So if this is a love reading, if the reason why you're here is because you had a love situation that didn't quite work out, or you had a love situation that isn't quite working out, then this would basically indicate that you have to take this out of being about them and put it back into being you and your becoming, into the High Priestess, and see where the blessings lie within this. If this is about a work situation and perhaps it has been a little bit difficult, or maybe hasn't been as fulfilling as you want to, this is about you sort of seeing that perhaps there is a new direction, and in this new direction you are supposed to be running your own whatever. You're supposed to be running your own life in general, whatever that means. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be an entrepreneur, but you definitely need to not be under and definitely be above, you know. If this is a situation at home, this is about you creating proper boundaries around you so that you're able to actually function the way that you should. Another thing about the Pisces a lot of times is the fact that a lot of people take you guys for granted a lot, because you guys are so giving and so intuitive and so caring and yet emotional and things like that. People can a lot of times take you for granted, and so if that has been happening, creating proper boundaries is definitely something that you're going to want to do in this High Priestess energy. And I actually created a boundaries series, and it was a workshop that I had created, and there's four parts to it, and I'm actually going to slowly start releasing pieces of this workshop that I created. I'm going to slowly start releasing it to the public, um, for those who are interested in watching that series. And I created it because I was looking when I was trying to figure out, well, how do I tell someone about creating better boundaries? I noticed that there was a lot of information on the web or on YouTube, but I didn't feel like that information was really extensive for as much as boundaries sort of take over our life. You have to have boundaries at work, boundaries at home, boundaries within relationships. I felt like it just seemed so one-sided that I felt like I would create a larger four-part series. My mother's actually in part three, and my mother is actually a trauma specialist, and she has a whole bunch of other degrees in clinical psychology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I felt like it was is really important to put that out there. So I'm going to start releasing that in case you guys are interested and feel like you don't know how to set up the correct boundaries and sit in your high priestess energy, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna pull some more cards from the deck that I typically use for readings, which is like just a basic Llewellyn deck, and it sort of kind of fills in the details. We're gonna start talking. We're gonna talk about with these other cards. We're gonna talk about basically what's leaving or what's coming, what's coming up, what to expect in this month, etc. So, give me a moment as I. Oh, okay. You want to come out? As I shuffle these cards. Okay. There's a lot coming out right now. It's like already, um, yeah, it's already pretty active right now. So give me a second. It won't be that long. Okay. All right. I'm sorry that these videos are coming out a little bit later than expected. I actually, I know I usually say, from the 15th to the 15th, and tomorrow would be the 15th, but I've just been like, I've been A, tired, and B, it's been really, really hard to energetically to be more to do more. I've just been wanting to rest because I feel like this Mercury retrograde specifically has been a lot. So here we go. All right. So we have the Magician card. We have the Magician card. So this was the card that was missing. Remember, because like in the last reading that we were doing, I told you it's from the Fool, and then the Magician, and then the High Priestess. This is the magician card, and this is the one we were missing in that process. And this is exactly what I just told you about. For whatever reason, you brought this situation to you vibrationally. This is you, if you've been in a place where it's felt really kind of imbalanced and unstable, it's because you were imbalanced and unstable prior to this opportunity that came in that was going to bring you to the high priestess energy. So this is kind of saying, because I have the Queen of Swords that comes up. Oh, the Queen of Swords that comes up next, you know and this is one of those moments where I have to kind of talk to you guys. You have to take personal responsibility for what you bring to yourself. It's not saying that you deserve everything that comes to you. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that perhaps you don't know that you don't deserve X, Y, and Z. Perhaps you're the one who doesn't know that that you deserve more, and perhaps this is how you were feeling prior to. And so the universe or God or whoever is going to bring things into your life not based off of wanting to harm you, but based off of seeing you guys are a direct reflection of the actual universe. You're a direct reflection of the actual universe. And so being the direct reflection of the actual universe, the truths that you see in others is the same truth that the universe sees within you rather. And so the universe is going to constantly bring things to you based off of the reflection, based off of that reflection, and wanting to see you sit on your throne. You know, a lot of stuff I say has to do with the throne because I'm a Leo and royalty is our thing. I even got a tattoo the other day. You can't see it; it's upside down, but it's a crown because that's me. So anyway, um, so the Queen of Swords sort of comes up and says, you're perhaps probably in the tail end of this dark night of the soul. You're perhaps in a time when you are and I said this actually, and I feel like this energy is kind of abound for a lot of signs, but there is this sort of energy of don't be cold, don't be, don't not give yourself because giving yourself the first time didn't work. That's ridiculous. You have so much to offer, and people need that mirror. They need that reflective version of themselves. And if you don't provide that for people, or if you become too cold, if you become too um uncaring, that's not authentic to who you are, number one. But number two, then you're not providing what you're here to provide. There's a reason why you're born under the sign that you are. And if you don't give that, if you feel like it's all for you, then that's being quite selfish, really, to the whole sort of and I hate using like hippie phrases, but the universal collective. That's being quite selfish to the universal collective, because your energy, because you aren't going to be here forever. This is, you are in this body as a temporary deal, right? But your energy is infinite. And so with this infinite energy, you need to be adding as much as you can, as much substance and truth, etc., to other people. And just because, and I have the King of Cups in reverse, just because this guy came along and couldn't see it, just because that opportunity came along and couldn't value what you had to give, doesn't necessarily mean that now you should just hold yourself back. If anything, you should fight a little bit harder to even give more of yourself to people, to give more of yourself to situations, and understanding that this person's just an idiot. That's it. Sometimes people are just idiots. And I want to say idiot in more of a compassionate sense. Idiot in the sense of they just don't see it, or they're not there yet, or they just sort of take these gifts for granted. And that part is not your responsibility. You don't have to take that on. You were there and provided what you need to, and I really do feel like you're going to start seeing the fruits of that labor in due season. And so you just kind of have to hold on for a minute. Not hold on to situation, sorry. Hold on to that part of yourself, that emotional part of yourself. So I have the Nine of Swords here. Now this could be you. What I'm strongly feeling like is because of where you've moved from, um I feel like this could be you. This could be the feelings of you sort of being depressed and anxious and da 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 da. But I feel like because someone or something was so used to you giving, was so used to how much you cared, was so used to all the work you gave into them because you saw something better, that now they were the ones left in this place, wondering if you'll ever come back, wondering if you just don't like them anymore, you wondering if you don't care. It's actually really funny because it's like people take you for granted for caring too much, and then all of a sudden when you're like, okay, I'm over it, I'm moving on to the next thing, I'm going to work through my emotions, and then I'm going to be done. then they get real heartbroken, and they get real sad and anxious, and like, well, no one's gonna care for me the way that you did. You're like, really, fool? Yeah, nobody's gonna care for you like I do. I'm a Pisces. That's how we roll. No one's gonna see you. Yes, nobody's gonna see you as great as I saw you, because I'm a Pisces and that's what I do. I be telling truths all day, every day. Uh, duh. And so they're the ones left in this place. And so on some level, although this is really petty, let me petty LaBelle for a minute. This is really petty. On some level, you actually won. And what I mean by that is they get it now. They get it now. If you were worried about whether or not they understood or whether or not they got it, they get it now. And they got it through you deciding to hold that high priestess energy and do whatever it is that is necessary for you to heal and to move through. They actually got it. We have the Ace of Swords here, and this is in reverse, and I feel like this is actually saying that they might actually, and they might actually come back. The opportunity might actually come back. They might really feel like they finally saw it. They finally understand everything you were trying to say. They finally understand the truths you were trying to relate. And they feel like they got it. Now, the Strength card comes up. The Strength card comes up, and this is telling me that just because they got it doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to be for you, and you need to start letting people earn your space. You need to start letting people earn the truths that you have to tell them. You need to start letting people, sorry, something was flying in the air. You need to start letting people earn that emotional space within you, because I know you'll give it freely. But now it's a season as the high priestess for you to let people actually earn it. They have to earn it now. And if they are worthy of your time, and if they're worthy of your space, if they're worthy of your attention and your care, and just the massive and massive amount of energy that you guys will give to somebody, then okay. Okay. But they have to earn it now. You're the high priestess. Don't fuck it up. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want, I do have reading specials going on until the 1st of May. You can email me if you want to. You can send a donation if you'd like. Also, you can like, share, and subscribe, obviously. I think that's it. I will see you guys next month. And thank you again. All right.